Blog Talk Radio.
What do you do when you don't know? Just go and ask for do-de-o-do. A Horazy will journey with you to all the places on
Ready
the
to save
photo.
today.
What do you do when you don't know? Just go and ask for do-de-o-do. A Horazy will journey with you to all the places others won't go.
You're listening to Ask the Unicorn, live with Ahura Z. Deliza, answering all your paranormal, metaphysical, and spiritual questions. Call us now at 718-664-9638 to speak with Ahura, or post your questions via chat room on our show page. And now your host, Ahura Z.
Hi, looks like we're having some technical difficulties. Hang in there for just a sec while we get everything sorted out. In the meantime, I will play you a song. How about Athanatus by Pisces Project.
Concentrate.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Concentrate by Pisces Project. I'm sorry for all of the technical difficulties we seem to be having, but I think that we're ironing them out. I'm hoping that you can all hear me. You're on the air live with Ahura Z. This is Ask the Unicorn, and I'm here with Kazi. Kazi, say hello to everyone.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Wednesday, January 22nd, and this is episode 17.
Yes, and tonight I'm going to open up the floor with things about the paranormal. In other words, we've had some guests here, the East Coast Ghost Trackers, and we will have other paranormal guests that come in, paranormal teams. But I want to talk a little bit about that, because most of you really don't understand what goes into paranormal investigation. It's not just, going someplace to pretend that you're Ghostbusters. It's really investigation, and something that is very meticulous and something that is very detailed. Also, you get the opportunity to come into contact with things of a paranormal nature, things of a spiritual nature, and it's something that you should be careful about. Now, there are a lot of shows out that have people going in groups, different groups going in and calling ghosts out and doing things to challenge a spirit or doing things to provoke spirits. That's something that I never really recommend. But if you're learning about paranormal investigation, or you're going there just to understand what the paranormal is, then by all means do that. But remember, when you do that, you must show ultimate respect to things that you just don't understand, and that is the spiritual. And you can gain the understanding by respecting that energy and being open to allow that energy to show you itself. And I've come across a lot of groups that are very disrespectful, and this isn't my way of chastising it. It's merely to give you all a clear example or a clearer vision of what paranormal investigation is. It is not for you to go out and play. It's not for you to go out and desecrate graveyards. It's not for you to go out and pretend like everything that you bought from Hot Topic makes you a very, powerful vampire or whatever you want to call it. It's for you to understand things that people don't normally see. People like myself, it's very normal, and there are other groups out there that is very normal for them to interact with the spiritual. But if you don't have that type of a gift, or you're just learning to understand your gift, the best thing for you to do is just go where you're going to go, show respect, and maybe you'll see something. And if you do, document it and see what the spiritual world is trying to show you. Okay, I'm going to open the floor to questions, but before I do, I want to give everybody the opportunity to have their questions answered. I will answer any question that has to do with the paranormal, the spiritual, the metaphysical, and the mystical. Now, there are a lot of you out there that have questions, and right as you get to where you get the opportunity to talk to me, you might forget them. This is why I suggest for you to write down your questions, think about your questions, and have a method of remembering them so that when you get here, they don't just leave your mind. All right. Now, what do you have for me tonight?
This question comes from Josie, and she asks, there have been some bright blue-green lights appearing in my photos, but only when the flash is on. I thought it was an orb, but my mom said it's just a dust particle. I think it's my nan, but I'm not too sure.
Well, I think that perhaps your mom might be right, but at the same time, you might be right. There's a possibility of both of them happening. This is one of the things that I tell people a lot of times. Just because you see something that looks like a big glob of light in your camera or in your photo doesn't mean that it's a spirit orb. It could mean that there are dust particles in the air that get illuminated when the flash happens, and that's a very real possibility. We have to entertain that. Okay, there's usually a different type of a signature when there is something otherworldly or something that has to do with the paranormal or has to do with the spiritual. You really have to think about these things before you go and spout that everything that you see is metaphysical. Now, I understand that you love your nan, and that's great, and you may have felt your nan there. It didn't mean necessarily that she came off as a glob of light or a spirit orb. She may have just been there and is still there And at the same time, when you took the picture, because this is what you said. What you said was that it only happens when you have the flash on. The moment that you say that, then what you've done is pretty much negated things that are going to happen in the paranormal world. Because the paranormal world or the spirit world doesn't really need a flash in order for it to happen. And this is just the way that it is. So what I'm going to tell you is for this particular instance, and that particular instance that you said that, it's more than likely that it is a flash that's illuminating the dust particles in the air. This is something for people to really consider. Before you go jumping up into the paranormal, again, I will say this. You must exercise every single physical opportunity that there is. You don't want to just assume that because you saw a flash of light, it must have been, a portal to another dimension. There could have been so many physical reasons as to why that happened. And then what you have to take into consideration is other things. Were you under duress? Was there an emotional issue? Did you have too many skittles? Did you, happen to look really, really fast? Are you okay? You have to take these things into consideration before you go jumping up into the spiritual realm. However, I will tell you this. As I always do, the first level of spirituality is reality. So let's deal with the third dimensional reality before we go jumping into those other dimensions, okay? I hope that helps you. Now, what else have you got?
Next question is from Betty Emmons, and she asks, we were having spirit activity before my daughter moved out and things got quiet when she left. Are the spirits attached to her?
Not necessarily. Your daughter may be an anchor, and your daughter may have been the reason that there was so much activity. And at the same time, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily attached to her. They may have just activated or became overly active when she was there. Different people have different energy, and just like different people have different energy, some of that energy may spark a reaction from people around them, or even those people around them that don't have bodies anymore. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that they're not necessarily attached, but she was a catalyst. In other words, her presence enabled them to manifest themselves a little more. Now, what you have to do is track whether or not there's any more paranormal activity. In other words, maybe it's just taking a break. And because it's taking a break when your daughter left, maybe you think that that's your daughter, something that is attached to your daughter. Let's just see. Go over the next 2 weeks and see if you have any more paranormal activity. And if you do, let us know. Okay? Because that means, one, no, it's not necessarily attached to your daughter. Two, there may be something else that is causing the paranormal activity, and it could very well be attached to even you. So how about we just do a little bit of work and a little bit of research and just find out these things. Again, let's deal with things a step at a time. Okay? That way, when you decide to say that it is paranormal, you have a firm ground to stand on. In other words, you've already done all the research. If you are going to say that it's attached to your daughter, you have to play dot to dot. And this is really important. Remember, we opened this up with paranormal investigation. And what a good investigator does is use every single avenue of information before you jump from one point to the next. Okay, so how about we do that? I'm willing to bet that it may have something to do with your daughter, but it's not necessarily attached to her, unless she ran into something that caused an attachment. The only way that we'll understand and know that is by talking to her and asking her personally if there's anything different between the time that the manifestations, before the manifestations happen and as they've happened. I hope that helps you. All right, what have you got next?
Next question comes from Donna Kennison, and she asks, we would like to know what your feelings are about children's spirits. Can they actually be stuck here, or are they of demonic nature? We have EVPs of children talking and giggling, but we do not believe it to be demonic in these situations.
Okay, this is something that has come across our desk a lot. First off, there are children's spirits out there. There are spirits that took the form of a child and left that child and kept that form. That doesn't mean that they're demonic. That's one of the words that gets used way too much nowadays, and I kind of blame the media and movies for things like this because it terribly misinforms people. Not everything that you're going to encounter is a demon. That's something that is very, very rare that you will encounter a demon. When you do, there's absolutely no question as to what it is. Okay, you don't have to figure it out. You don't have to think, well, this must be. It will show itself, okay? Now, because you hear giggling and you hear a child's voice, I know that in the movies they love to use creepy children's voices. You know, you'll see something pass by the camera lens and all of a sudden you hear the laughter of a child. You know, and that can kind of creep a lot of people out. But in truth, it doesn't work that way. Listen, if there are children that are laughing, that are playing, couldn't they just be children? I mean, really. I mean, they can be just children's spirits. And I've encountered a lot of child spirits. I've encountered a whole room full of children's spirits that thought that I was there to send them to a bad place. And I had to explain to them, no, that's not why I'm here. And then I make a special concession for them, or I ask for a dispensation so that they can go to where it is that they need to go, because they get lost just like the rest of us. You know, I know that a lot of groups will come and say, well, you know, this particular spirit is a little girl and she's in so much pain. You know, it doesn't always work like that. Not every spirit out there is in so much pain. Sometimes they are in some pain, but it's not pain how you and I understand it. It's the pain of confusion and the pain of loss and things like that. But perhaps if they're shown the correct way and not looked at like they're a demon just because they giggle at something, you know, you have to remember, they lose their body, not their senses. They don't lose their minds, most of them, you know, but you've got to look at things a little different. Stop using that word so much. That it's like everything that happens, well, there's got to be a demon. You know, the glass fell off of the edge of the desk, so there must be a demon that did it. The house shook, it must be a demon. And if you live in California, the house shaking is not demonic. It's just another tremor, okay? And you got to take these things into consideration. We like to use words and not really know what they mean. So when, you know, if I'm talking to a fellow investigator, and I happen to know that I am in this particular case, one of the things that you have to look out for is the lack of understanding that people do have. And they'll always throw something, it's a demon or it's an angel, and it doesn't mean that. It means that perhaps there are different spirits that have a malevolent nature, and there are different spirits that have a benevolent nature. You have to take into consideration all these things. But when you're dealing with a child, sometimes you have to take things at face value and say, okay, this is a child spirit. But just because it's a child spirit didn't mean that it's a demon. Children get lost the same as adults get lost. The angels don't take a bias between an adult and a child. You know, maybe this particular child maybe even saw an angel, but because of what they've learned here on this earth, they ran away. You know, so you have to take all of these things into consideration. There's not much difference other than the tangibility and the lack of time and space that happens differently in a person's physical life as to their spiritual life. Remember, it is the spirit that runs the body, not the other way around. Okay, so if you just take into consideration that, no, this is a child spirit, doesn't mean that there's a demon, but there may be something else that could take the form of a child. That is a possibility. And even then, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a demon. It could be an astral entity that's just posing. And in my experience, more times than not, that is exactly what takes place. There's some astral entity out there that has decided that if it takes this particular shape, then it can get more people to invest in it or trust it. So it will take that shape, or it can get more people to be afraid of it. So it'll take this shape, you know, and a lot of people just don't understand. This is why I happen to think that paranormal investigation, paranormal awareness, and psychic development should be part of normal curriculum in our schools. It's very unfortunate that is not. It makes absolutely no sense. Children see things all of the time, and so do adults. Even teachers see things. The janitor sees things. The security sees things. The principal sees things. But we're all told that, oh, no. We have to stay within our little block of 2 + 2 = 4. And A, B, C, D, not to think about that person that's standing over in the corner that really doesn't have a physical body that's looking directly at you, telling you about things that you know that it shouldn't know because it's never met the people that it's talking about, but you're supposed to ignore that. Why? Because if you don't ignore that, they're going to shove you in a little box and give you all this medication that tells you that you're crazy. But the bottom line is this. These things do exist no matter what anyone says to you. Okay? And they will exist. They have existed long before you were a twinkle in your mommy and daddy's eye. And they will exist long after you're gone. And as a matter of fact, you may be one of them at some point in time. So, you kind of have to take all of this into consideration and make yourself aware of the paranormal just the same as you make yourself aware of the aparanormal. I'll explain that. Para meaning beyond, apara meaning worldly. Okay, so there's paranormal, and then there's aparanormal, which is actually normal. Okay, so you have to kind of educate yourself in these ways, and the only way for you to educate yourself is to pursue the experiences. That doesn't mean go get a antimatter pack and call yourself Ghostbusters and go shoot everything that looks like Slammer. What that means is that you're going to actually take an educated approach to the spiritual and the metaphysical. Okay? So just because it's a child doesn't mean it's a demon. Absolutely not. However, there are cases in which astral entities and some demonic energies may actually take the form of a child simply to be the perfect predator. But that's very, very rare. And believe you me, if something was demonic, it would do a lot worse than scratch a person. A lot worse. And if you've ever done combat with one, you would understand that. So perhaps it's a misunderstood spirit. And what I mean by misunderstood is not victimized necessarily. It merely means not seen for what it really is. But it's up to us to pierce the veil. All right, I hope that helps you. Okay, for those of you that would like to call in, remember, you can call in. The number is 718-664-9638. That is 718-664-9638. I love talking to people. I love answering the questions, both from our chat room and on the phone. So if you would like to talk to me, give me a call. Okay, what else have you got for me?
Next question is from our chat room, and can you please tell us a little bit about the upcoming year, the Year of the Horse?
Well, as we all know, the Year of the Horse is about power and energy and strength, and it's a tremendous opportunity for you to get control of those things that are around you that you need to get control of. Now, what I mean by that is your job, your career, your stance on a career, those things that you want to bring into your life and those things that you want to get out of your life. But you have to do so confidently. You can't just hope for the best. You have to understand you've got a lot of power on the inside. And this particular year is a year of power, of sheer power and strength. But it's you that has to be the master of that strength and power. In other words, you got to take the reins in your own life. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that will agree with me or not agree with me based upon whatever it is that they've read. I really don't care. The bottom line is this. You have a tremendous opportunity to bring some of those things into your life. There's only one part of that you're going to have. Now, remember, last week I talked to you a little bit about animals and horses. You're going to have to call on the spirit of the horse to actually show you how to approach it. Because if you go running after a horse, guess what? It's going to run away or kick you. And hopefully it does the runaway thing, because to be kicked by a horse, I imagine, can't be a pleasant thing. So you've got to learn to approach that energy with respect. You understand it. You don't go flying out of the stocks like game busters. You say, okay, I understand. This is a lot of power for me to have to deal with. This particular year gives me a lot of power, but it also gives me a lot of dynamic, which means I'm going to have to exercise what? Patience, confidence, and the willingness to follow what it is that I see that I know is going to be the honest response. Don't just get caught up in the reaction. A lot of people do. React and respond. For instance, you've been thinking about opening a small business, okay? What you've been doing is thinking about opening a small business, and you've been thinking about opening a small business. Well, guess what? The Year of the Horse says, okay, time to do. So what you're supposed to do is find out what you need to know. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there that say, well, you got to go to college and take courses in business, and that's a lie. You've got to, put yourself in tremendous debt, and that's a lie. You've got to talk to these people and these people and these people, and that's a lie. Here's what you do. You find a product that you know that people are actually going to need, something. You put it in the proper package, you market it the way that you're going to market it, and you believe in yourself, and you put it out there. Now, when that catches on, or you feel that it could catch on, you've got to have faith in yourself. Find yourself a little hole in the wall. This is what I did. Find yourself a little hole in the wall and jump into it. Now, true, there's a lot of things that I would do differently had I to do it all over again. Nevertheless, I would not have passed up the opportunity to start my small business. And when I say small, I mean small. But it's what I do. And I love what I do. And that's the key form. You've got to find something that you absolutely love to do. And when you love to do it, ask yourself one or two questions. One being, what is it that I love to do that I would love to do it whether I have the money or not to do it? And then, would I be willing to do that in the service of mankind or womankind? Would I be willing to do that in the service of the universe? Would I put my product out there, and can I put my product out there with the confidence that I know that it should sell or it should be wanted? If you can answer those questions, then it's time for you to start your business. Don't sit up and listen to a lot of people. When I first opened my business, there were 6 other businesses that opened at the exact same time as me in the same week, and most of them had loans and business degrees. By the end of a year, there were 3 of us that were actually left standing. By the end of a year and a half, I was it. I was the only one left standing. And believe you me, if I can do it, anybody can do that. Now, there are good days, there are bad days. So what? I believe in myself, and I had to believe in myself in order to do that, but I had to do something. I couldn't just stand around and talk about it and say, well, I'm just waiting for the perfect time to do that. Guess what? The year of the horse is the perfect time for all of you that don't know this, because I know that there are a lot of people that do know this that are nodding their head right now and say, yep, this is it. This is the year of the horse. Get up off your keister. Do what you need to do. City Hall exists for the poor person just as well as the rich person. Go down there, see the city clerk. If you have a place that you can open your small business, get your business license, do the things that you need to do, make sure you do your taxes, all of that good stuff, and open your little business. Now, doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go and quit your normal job, but nobody's going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. And it's kind of one of those things that you can apply to the actual third-dimensional horse, which says, a horse will not believe in you unless you believe in yourself. And this is very true for all of those that have ridden horses or attempted to ride a horse or went up to a horse, because those things are huge. And they let you know how big they are, but they're the gentlest souls ever. But if you decide to ride one and you're unsure, guess what? It's going to be unsure. And most likely it doesn't want to be unsure, so it's going to get you off of its back. So approach that particular throne, that place that you want to be, with confidence. Understanding that you're going to make mistakes. Understanding that you are running a race with yourself. And you can't win that race unless you run. So this is what the year of the horse is about. It is about energy and harnessing that energy. It's about power and focusing that power. It's about your dreams and making them become real to the extent that you can. Now, there are a lot of people out there that have lots of money, and we all complain about it lots of times. But you know something? If you want to do something bad enough, you shut your mouth and do it to the degree that you can do it. And this is going to be my best answer for you. That the year of the horse is just like the year of Nike. Just do it. Okay? I hope that helps. All right, what have we got next?
Next question comes from Marie Thompson via Facebook, and she asks, I do know that there is a difference between a nightmare and a night terror. I would like to know what Ahura can explain, if Ahura can explain what he feels a night terror actually is. Okay,
let's ask Ahura.
Just ask
Well, there really is not much difference between a nightmare and a night terror. They're the same thing, really. It's just that we have developed these complex ways of describing and explaining things. A nightmare is something that frightens you. Okay, and it used to be in old times that it was called a nightmare that visits you, and this is like a dark horse that visits your dreams and looms over you and causes you to have terrifying visions of things that could be or are happening, of things that have happened and may visit you again, and it causes terror. Now, growing up, I had many of those, and I knew a lot of people did have many of them, and I had reasons for having those night terrors. So this is something that is very, very real to myself. When a person says that they've had a nightmare, nowadays they can put almost anything on there. Maybe they accidentally kicked their dog, or they did something and it made them feel really bad, because we live in a very emotional society as of late. However, a night terror is something that takes your control away. In other words, you have absolutely no control over what's going on. And that's got to be the most frightening thing ever, because it leaves a person helpless. And if you're a fighter, and, because we basically have two different types of people. There are those that fight and there are those that fly. If you're a person that has been like myself, which is a fighter, I'm not into running, However, I've learned some things over the years. But if you're one of those people that can fight anything you see, the night terror is that thing that makes it so you can't see it. And makes it so that it's beyond your control to do anything about it. And many times it has a physical effect on people. But physical in the way that it goes through a person's mind. There are a lot of people that are not afraid of being physically hurt. There are a lot of people that are not afraid of being mentally hurt. But that night terror causes something that is a combination of both, and puts them both in a place that you can't necessarily control them. However, those can be abated and cured, very simply. There are ways to make sure that that nightmare never visits you. Now, a lot of times what a person calls a nightmare, another person might call a great vision. And you have to understand, even within those two veins, you have to be able to tell the difference between that terror, that thing that terrorizes you, may be the very thing that is trying to show you where you're absolutely weakened, so that you can strengthen yourself and make that a great strength. Yes, that sounds really, really good, Z. I get it. Turn your greatest weakness into your greatest strength. Well, it's not like that at all. What it means is that you've got to be able to face that particular thing right at the threshold of your life, and something that is very, very real to a lot of people. Now, there are a lot of psychologists out there that will say, well, this is just mental matter from your brain not expending energy. Well, that particular person obviously has never had a night terror. A night terror can leave you in a cold sweat. It can leave you thrashing. It can leave you making you feel as though there is absolutely no hope and nobody to help you. It can isolate you. It can cause things that you would not normally do. Leave you sleepless because you're afraid to go to sleep because you might have another one. And it always picks the very worst thing that you could possibly imagine to happen. And at that particular time, it's very, very real. And maybe they can give you medication to make you pass out so that you don't remember having these terrors, but they still register on your body. And they still register in your mind. However, if you can find what the problem is, and you can abate the actual problem, even if it's an energy or an entity that is haunting you, an entity that is decided to be attached to you to scare you, because remember, there's something worse than hurting a person, is causing them to be afraid. But if you can conquer that fear for that person and show that person how to conquer their fear, then they've got absolutely nothing anymore, and that gigantic monster that is chasing them becomes a flea that they can flick right off. There are ceremonies that hinder the nightmare, make it go away, shield the people from them. And believe you me, I've had to work with a lot of people, children, men that look like they could move a mountain if they just punched it. And when they had a nightmare, it made them crumble. Otherwise, strong and powerful women that were shriveling just dwindled down to a shriek. Children that grasped onto me crying, bawling their eyes out because they were afraid, because they felt themselves being tired. Well, once I showed them how to get rid of the nightmare, they were fine. because everybody's willing to fight, which is why it's so important for you to be aware and so important for you to see and to understand that these are all realities. And these realities exist on many different dimensions. And we have to develop ourselves. All of us have to develop ourselves. And for those of you that have families, you are behooved to develop yourself. Make yourself more aware so that you can get rid of these nightmares. And with that, I'm going to play you a song, and then we're going to come back and go back to the chat room, and we're also going to go to the phones. This particular song is called The Anti-Nightmare. What I did was I wrote a lot of spells, and I wrote these spells in the form of songs so that you could learn them. You could play them. The vibration that I use in the music actually wards off negativity, and this is one of them. It's called The Anti-Nightmare Spell. I hope that you enjoy it. This is by Pisces Project. I will be back shortly. You're on the air live with Ahura Z. This is Ask the Unicorn.
You're listening to Ask the Unicorn with Ahura Z. DeLisa, answering all your paranormal, metaphysical, and spiritual questions. Call us now at 718-664-9638 to speak with Ahura, or post your questions via chat room on our show page. If you have an issue you'd like to discuss with Ahura in more detail, He offers telepathic readings and spiritual counseling by phone and Skype. Ahura also teaches private classes online using Skype video. For more information, visit Unicorn Cove School of Metaphysics at www.unicorn-cove.com. And now back to Ask the Unicorn.
All right, that was the Anti-Nightmare Spell, and I hope that you all benefited from that. If you like any of the music that you hear on our show, you can download this music by going to the Unicorn One Records website. That is www.unicorn1records.com. And you can download any of the music that you hear. And if you have a request for any of the songs, please feel free to write in or call in and ask for them, and I will play them for you. Now, tonight's subject has been about paranormal investigation, and understanding the paranormal and the metaphysical. If you have any more questions about these, I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions. I understand that everybody's kind of cold because the winter here in Maine is quite formidable. Being a tropical boy, I am not really used to this, even though I've been here for the last 14 years. It's like you have to get used to it all over again every single year. Now, everyone has been asking some really good questions, and I really like them. If you have a complicated question or you have something that you would like to talk with me about, please feel free to call in, and that is at area code 718-664-9638. Again, that is 718-664-9638. And I'd be more than happy to talk to you, even if it's something that you need to talk to about that's currently happening with you in regards to the metaphysical or the spiritual or the mystical. Now, I'm going to take an opportunity right now to talk to everybody about some other projects that I have going on. One of them is that we are doing a film, and that film is called Falkir, and it is about different women that were taken from different time periods by fate and given the opportunity to, at the request of Odin, King of the Gods, given the opportunity to become heroes and legendary creatures known as Valkyrie to save the earth and all mankind, or to meet their demise. And that choice was obvious. But it is an action-adventure film, and it's in the category of what I call mythacy. And that is a combination of myth and fantasy that I've put together. And I think that this is going to be a very wonderful film. And I hope that you all check out our website. You can go to the Falkir website on Facebook, Falkir, and check out the things that we post every weekend. We usually film every weekend, and we've been making some great strides with the film. Also, for those of you that have out there that have paranormal ventures, such as you're doing a psychic fair, if you'd like, you can call in from time to time, and I will give you a little bit of a spot to actually advertise your show or advertise what it is that you're doing. I like participating in psychic festivals and things like that. I got to participate in one earlier this year, or actually, was it last year that I got to participate in one, and it was quite fun.
The end of the year.
Yeah, end of the year. It was actually quite fun. I met some really wonderful people out there, and I'm still meeting a lot of wonderful people. It seems that I'm meeting a lot of people who are also doing things to help this world give birth to a new spiritual age. And it looks like the year of the horse is a wonderful time to actually do that. For those of you that would like to understand the paranormal and you'd like to actually learn things about the paranormal and the metaphysical and the spiritual and mystical, I do teach classes, and you can get in touch with me and find out what the class schedules are and what types of classes that I offer through the Unicorn Cove website, and that is www.unicorn-cove.com. And I will be more than happy to help you to learn things. I teach private classes, group classes. I also do telepathic readings and do things such as vibrational frequency. And what vibrational frequency is I can actually recreate the person's vibration in sound and help them to push the bad things out of their life. Now, this is something that I've been doing for the last 25 years, and long ago I proved that you can actually use sound to manipulate objects and to move objects and to lift them. And I've actually proved this in front of people, and it's really funny that science got credit for that, but I'm not going to go there tonight. You know, just let it be known that we've already known this. We've already done this. We've already used vibrational frequency, and lots of people all around the world have used vibrational frequency for years and have been very successful at it. And if you can recreate a person, and you can recreate that person up to 5 different times, what you can do is kind of kick the bad one out by flooding that person with their positive vibration. And, it would be a good thing for a person to learn, especially those of you that are musicians and those of you that understand sound and love sound. But any of these things can be taught, and then you can actually be able to help the universe in that particular way by helping your fellow man understand the paranormal as well and understand the metaphysical as well. Now, do we have any more questions at all? Okay, then that means that I get to talk a little more. Okay, so one of the things that I would like to talk to you all about is what your goals are. If you have some goals for this particular year of the horse, I would actually like to hear your goals. So you can also call in and tell me what it is that you have planned. Yes.
Can I tell you my goals?
Okay, Kazi wants to tell everybody her goals, so I'm going to give her the opportunity to do that. Go ahead.
Well, it has to do because I'm playing the part of a goddess in the movie Valkyr, and that's check out the website, and that's Valkyr, F like in Frank, ALCYYR. My goal for this year is to beef up and gain about 5 to 10 pounds of muscle. Yay!
That's your goal?
That's my goal, yeah.
So that's Kazi's goal. She's going to buff up.
I'm going to buff up.
And actually her inspiration is The Rock.
Yeah.
I like to say that it's me because I've been pretty buffed myself, but then I got fat and now I'm buffed again. And by the way, The Rock has a movie that's coming up, and that is Hercules. And I'm going to see it. I hope you all see it. It's coming soon, whenever soon is. But I want to talk to you about some other things too. I'm very much into movies and music. I'm very much into games, video games. In fact, at some point in time, I'm actually going to create my own. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's definitely got to be exciting as soon as I can figure out how to do it. I figure out some things, and some things I just look at, and they're giant question marks above my head. But I think if I talk to someone that is really good at it, I can figure it out. If you have something that you want to do creative, you should do that. Even if it's just on the side, even if it's just for a couple hours a week, do something creative, because you'll thank me for that later. Because if you go through your life being just very serious about everything, and you're going to work, you go home, you make sure that you eat some dinner, you think that you're being exciting because you watch, Breaking Bad, which is a totally unrealistic show. But I'm not going to say anything more about that. But, do something that is creative. Figure out something. Do something absolutely new. For instance, I heard a friend of mine who I've known for years. I heard her play. I knew that she played the piano, but I actually heard her play the piano, and I had to pick my jaw up off of the floor because I always knew she was good, but I didn't know she was that good. And she's just stunning. I'm not going to say her name because if she's listening, she'll get all embarrassed, so I don't want to do that. But, she has, if to look at her and to talk to her, you can see that she's very creative, but you never knew that she could do that type of work, just blazingly wonderful on the piano, And I'm going to tell her about herself next time because she is always not playing. If you have something that you would really like to do, something that you did even as a child that you enjoyed, there are a lot of musicians out there that don't really play anymore because someone told them that it wasn't realistic to play, or you can't play, you're an adult now. Those people need to go take a long walk off of a short pier. You have something creative, and you need to make sure that creativity happens. So if you're one of those closet engineers that can create a video game, or you want to do some film, or you want to do music, or you want to do sculpture, you owe it to yourself to do that. That actually helps your intuition, believe it or not. Not only does it help your intuition, it also helps your self-esteem and confidence. So hopefully there's something that you want to do that you'll be able to exercise those particular things within you. It's really important, especially now. This is a good year for it. Why not just go ahead and do it, okay? You know that there are things out there that you want to do. You know, perhaps there's some place that you want to go. You know, if you want to go to this place, you owe it to yourself to at least attempt going there. Do something. You know, oh, well, I can't afford it. How do you know? You know, you haven't even tried to afford it. You know, people say, well, I don't know if I can do this. It's kind of like, you remember disco? Yeah. The only reason that people said disco sucked is because they can't dance. That's really the only reason. Well, it's the same thing. The only reason that someone would try to talk you out of doing something creative is because they don't really understand creativity, nor do they have any talent. But they won't know that they have talent until they do something. Like I said, at the beginning of this particular night, I told you about the Year of the Horse, and the Year of the Horse is that power that tells you is the opportunity for you to discover what it is that you really can do. What can I do? You know, if you want to win the race, you got to run. You know, so run, do something, anything. Although I've never really had it in my mind to want to try bungee jumping. But, hey, if you want to do bungee jumping, you go right ahead. You know, as a matter of fact, if I were with you, I'd tell you to do it. I just tell you, go, do it. You know, so you should tell yourself, do it. If there are things in your life you want to do it. There's something in your heart that you feel that you can do, whether it's good or bad. Don't do any bad things, but you know what I mean. Whether it's really, really good or not so good, you at least owe it to yourself to attempt it. I mean, there are people that I have met that cannot hold a note in a bucket sideways on Sunday when nobody is really listening. But at least they try to sing. And you have to give them that. You know, there's people that can't dance a lick. They don't even have a left foot. They have like two heels or something. You know, like that guy in Napoleon Dynamite that everybody thought was cool. I don't get that, but that's okay. You know, at least he was doing something. You know, so get out there and do something. You have a goal, do it. Find out what's out there. Listen, we have computers now. And I have to say this, for all of you women, this is an excellent time for you, seriously. This is an excellent time for women. There are so many opportunities right now, right this very moment, that women can take advantage of. My suggestion is for you to go ahead and do it. Do something. You want a business? Open it up. You want to find out about what opportunities that there are for women to learn different things or to do different things? There's so many services now to help you. One of those is some company that I did a PSA for, a public service announcement for, and that's the Maine Women's Fund. If I were you, I would check them out. Ask them some questions. There's absolutely no excuse for women to not be successful in things. No excuse. You know, there's so many opportunities right now. Take advantage of them and be as creative as you want to be. And with that particular note, I'm going to end tonight's show. I hope you have all enjoyed the show, and I hope to hear you all back next week. Notice this time I said hear you all back. This has been Ask the Unicorn.
You have a phone call.
I have a phone call at the very last minute.
Yeah.
All right. That's great. I will actually bring this person into our studio. Hello.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's over, that's fine.
Hi, I'm right here.
Hi, Z. This is Arlita.
Hey, what's up, Arlita?
I just wanted to call in and tell you that your whole thing about the Year of the Horse was actually really inspiring to me. And I wanted to tell you my goal for the year.
Okay, what is it?
Which you probably already know, but so my main goal of the year is to work on improving myself in, my acting and my dancing and my singing so that I can eventually do that as a career. And that's what I've wanted to do since I was young, but for the longest time I kind of, put it under a box just because of the same reasons you said, you know, and people told me that isn't, you know, a really profitable industry. It would be hard, you know, what if you don't make it? But I really believe that I have that talent in there. I just have to pull it out. So
well, I see that as well. You do have that talent, but you have to not just believe in yourself. You actually have to have enough confidence in yourself to stand up to those people that say things like that, because they really don't know.
Exactly.
I mean,
no, and I completely agree.
Yeah, the exact same risk that you take in becoming a dancer and performer is the same risk that you take in becoming a firefighter or a doctor or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you still have to go through and do the work. And, you know, for them to choose something based upon what they are afraid of is absurd. You know, you have to do, you have to be true to yourself and do what it is that you actually love.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And if you do that, you will be successful. But remember just a couple of things. It takes a firm dedication, not kind of. It takes a firm dedication, almost to the point of fanaticism, so long as you're being responsible.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You can't do things like shave your head.
I agree. I completely agree.
Good.
All right. Well, I just wanted to call in and tell you that whole bit was just very inspiring to me, and I appreciate you saying that.
I'm glad.
So.
I'm glad. And I will see you this weekend.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, Z.
All right.
Take care.
You have a good night. Bye-bye.
You too.
All righty then. That was Arleta. And
who are you waving to?
I wave to people. They can see me. You know, so this has been Ask the Unicorn, and that was actually quite cool. For those of you that want to call in right now, you have about a minute. You can do that. Okay, I guess not.
Maybe. Let's see if I can.
Well, that's okay. We're going to go ahead and end the show for tonight. But this has been Ask the Unicorn. I'm Ahura Z. Thank you for listening to us. And remember, if you want to make donations towards the show so that I can do more shows like this, please go to the Ask the Unicorn site and make a donation. We'd be more than happy to receive it. Good night, everyone.
The website, by the way, is www.unicorn-cove.com. Yeah.
Thank you very, very much.
Welcome. You always forget.
Well, you know, I can't think of everything, just most things. All right. Good night, all. I hope you have a pleasant tonight.
You've been listening to Ask the Unicorn with Ahura Z. DeLiza. If you have a personal matter you need help with, Ahura offers telepathic readings and spiritual counseling by phone and Skype. He also teaches private classes in an array of subjects online using Skype video. Visit Unicorn Cove School of Metaphysics for more information at www.unicorn-cove.com. If you have a question for Ahura to answer on a future episode of Ask the Unicorn, you can email it to questions@asktheunicorn.com and we'll add it to the list for our next show. Ask the Unicorn broadcasts live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time on Blog Talk Radio. Visit our website for more information and to hear archived episodes of our show at www.asktheunicorn.com.
When you don't know, just go and ask for do. Ahura Z will journey with you to all the places on
Ready
the
to see today.
What do? And when you don't know, just go and ask for do. Ahura Z will journey with you to all the places others won't go.
Hi, Trina. Hello.
Awesome. Yes, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay,
How are you?
awesome. No. Oh, I'm okay.
Good.
I've seen better days, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to ask, what do you think about the blue lights that are like, I don't know, appearing over Ohio?
Are they appearing right now?
There was a one early this morning, like around 7 o'clock this morning.
Well, those are definitely extraterrestrial. They've been appearing around a lot of people's houses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, that's a lot of extraterrestrial activity.
Oh, okay. Just curious, because there's a few of us that we've been seeing, like, a lot of them, like, around our homes. So we were just kind of curious. Like, yeah.
Okay, for those of you that might still be listening, we are still live. And this is Trina that is actually calling to let us know that she's in the midst, actually, of a paranormal experience. And, yes, ET does fall under paranormal. And there are a lot of blue lights that are showing up outside of people's homes and over people's homes, correct?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. And
yeah, we're like a college students from different places.
Right.
Like we're all like texting each other, like, "Hey, did you just see that? Did you just see that?" And we're all like looking out, and then we're like seeing it, and we're like,
has anyone taken any pictures at all?
I don't know. I haven't asked.
You probably should. Maybe you can, if you do get a picture of them, can you send me to on Facebook? Can you send me some of the pictures?
No, absolutely. I can absolutely do that.
That would be awesome.
But I was just a little curious.
Well, that's definitely of an extraterrestrial nature. Definitely that, because it's not the first time that I've heard it, actually. And now that you're actually there, and there are other people that are, there with you, that's got to be pretty powerful on your end, huh?
Yeah, it is. Feel energized.
That's awesome.
But
okay,
I was just a little curious, like if anybody else out there has seen it. Well,
that would be an excellent thing. If anybody else is seeing it, can you call in? If there's anybody else that is seeing blue lights over your homes, and you're actually seeing many UFO activity, can you please give us a call so we can actually see if we can compare notes as to what's going on? The number is 718-664-9638. And we'd like to hear you. So I'll stay on the air a little longer. I had planned on signing off, but this is actually something I don't want to sign off for. So
sorry.
No, that's quite all right. This is what we're here for. This is what we're about, and we're actually catching something that is live and candid, and I'm really appreciative of that. So how are you besides all of this, Trina?
I'm doing okay. I did a little bit of healing the other day, and my father had turned for the better the very next day, and the doctor, he was a little startled because he didn't think my father was going to make it. And he said he started improving a little bit after I left. So.
Well, you have some pretty powerful energy there yourself. And we do know that doctors know a lot, but they don't know everything. And there's some things that transcend what it is that they know. And in your particular case, that has to do with healing energy.
That is true. That is very good. I just wish I could do it a little bit faster.
Well, I told you, this is what I teach. I teach you to develop yourself. But we have to get right down to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I also wanted to ask, like, if there is anybody, or including like yourself, like if you guys have been like experiencing like shadows or like things moving around in the house, or anything like that.
Well, lots of people do, and as a matter of fact, I get calls like that all the time. And as for myself, I usually make them calm down or go away. That's what I do, and help a person understand what's going on. Yeah, we get a lot of that type of activity all the time. Understanding if something is actually a shadow, if it has a shadow, it's actually alive. and you're seeing a dimensional type of a person or dimensional type of an energy, something that's happening just beyond your dimensional reality, but still just as real.
Okay, so how do I like communicate
deal
with
it? Well,
yes.
Sometimes you can communicate with it. Other times you don't really communicate with it. Just see if you have to remain safe about these things. I think I know that you'll be as safe as you possibly can. Just make sure that you're not losing any energy. Make sure that it's not causing any headaches or anything that registers on your physical body. Do you understand? And then you can actually make a motion and see if it mimics your motion, or see if you walk close to it, see if it comes closer or it backs away. But you have to really identify with how it feels to you. Do you understand?
Okay.
Okay. If it feels bad to you,
like when I tried to follow it earlier, like I felt like a really bad feeling, but it didn't. It didn't bother me a bit, and it just like started to like a little bit of a headache.
Okay. At that point, you need to break contact.
Pressure.
Yeah. That means you need to break contact. Do you understand?
Okay.
You need to back away from it.
What happens if I don't?
Well, if you don't, you wind up getting an energy drain. That's what was happening. Okay. In this particular case, so what you want to do is, do you have any candles around?
I do actually.
Okay.
The yellow one.
Okay, see if we can get a hold of a white candle. Okay, or an LED light. If you have a white candle or an LED light, that would be fine. You can just light it or turn the LED light in the direction of that particular space, and it will dissipate the energy.
Okay, that's good. I can definitely do that. The small white one and the big yellow one.
Okay. Yeah, see if you can do that. If you have a small white one, just light that until you get a bigger one. And I'll talk to you in depth a little later, and I can actually show you, I can actually educate you as to how to deal with it.
Okay.
In the meantime,
like that.
Yeah, in the meantime, don't mess with it, okay?
All right. Well, I've just been like kind of trying to figure out, like, because I would see it, and then, other people in the house are like starting to see it, and so I would like try to like catch it. I don't know.
Right.
And then I would like back off, and then it would come towards me.
Yeah,
and
don't
then
do that.
And then it would like back off. So.
Yeah, don't do that. Okay. How about these? Is there still activity going on where you are as far as the blue lights are?
No, it was a few times. It's like the first one that I seen was early this morning, like when I went to walk out my door. I turned around and there was like this light like at the back of the house, and it was like the same light that comes over my arms or something when I do healing. So I was just a little curious, and then my neighbor was like, "Did you see that?" And I'm like, "Depends on what you're talking about. What did you see?" And it's like, "Well, just I don't know. It went into the ground, like it came up and it went back down. And it was blue." So I was just like, "Oh, okay." And then my friend has been texting me like all throughout the day, and she's been saying, "Hey, guess what? I've been seeing this light, and it's not me. It's a few other people that's seeing it around campus." And so I was just kind of curious, like, is it only here, or is it in other states, or is that?
Yeah, I've heard actually over people's houses. And where are you? You're in Ohio, is that right?
Yes, I am in Ohio.
Yeah, you're in Ohio. And I've heard in Ohio and in Rhode Island and some other states, I've heard that similar story, which is really interesting. And hopefully it means that there's going to be an announcement about it. And I hope there is an announcement by it, because it's absolutely absurd that these things are actually still hiding.
Right, that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think we could possibly learn from each other, but not all, there's different types of,
yeah, there's different types of beings. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And we just have to find out what the nature of them are.
That
what
is
their
true.
nature is.
It's just like the human beings. You know, there's some where the intentions are good and not so good, and vice versa. So they probably look at us like, you know, these people, like, what are they?
But this dimensional being, what I don't want you to do is to approach it. Do you understand?
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, I'll talk to you a little later about it, okay? Thanks for calling in and letting me know that, though.
You are very, very welcome. Just because, like, I feel a little more energized when it's happening. So I was kind of curious.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'll talk to you soon, okay? I'll talk to you a little later.
Thank you so much.
All right. Night-night.
All right, bye.
Well, that was fun. You know, I was going to close the show, and I guess it's time to close now, but it was pretty interesting that she would call in at that last second, you know, and notify us of what's actually going on. That was Trina. And she's actually quite sensitive herself. And the fact that there are other people that have seen it, I'd like to delve more into that at some point in time. So I'm going to go and check it out and see if I can find any relating stories to that. Okay? But I'd like to tell you all that was interesting, and I will see you all next week. Have a good night, and be good to each other. I'm Uhura Z. You're on the air live. This is Ask the Unicorn.